ze ook aan het hoesten. En ik bracht naar de kinderen. Ik zeg, ben je wel beter? Ja, ja, ja. Ik dacht, oké, kinderen niet bij oma komen.
Ja, ja.
Dat is toch wel een beetje eng.
Ja, je moet er opletten.
Ja? Top, oké. Hi everyone, welcome to our Thursday gathering again. Welcome to you guys at home and also here in the cafe area. So again, the theme is global challenges, local solutions. And today I have another amazing guest that I'm going to interview. This is Pauline Calmez. She's the director of Netwerk Nieuw Rotterdam. And she's going to share her personal story with us and also about, of course, the organization that she built up. If you have any questions at home or here in the cafe area, feel free to raise your hand or just use the chat to pose a question. So, Pauline, welcome.
Thank you.
Adventure Cafe. Could you tell us something about yourself? Like, who are you and what are you doing?
Yes, of course. My name is Pauline Calmez. I'm 26 years old. I'm married to a wonderful guy. His name is GB. We have a little puppy at home and we live in Rotterdam. And I'm the founder and director of Netwerk Nieuw Rotterdam. And this is an organization, actually it's a place for young people to belong, to make friends and to develop themselves. And as well to be able to reach out to others and actually be the helping hand. I'm doing this now for more than 3 years.
Wow, so it's a non-profit organization?
Yes.
And it's really focused on young people?
Yes.
And so today we're talking about, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals and the city of Rotterdam, an international city. I read on the website, it's really also about loneliness.
Yes.
Because could you maybe tell us, like, how did it start? Like, how did you came up with this idea, being 26, yes. Looking amazing, very young, like, how did you come up with the whole idea of, okay, I'm going to start a non-profit organization?
It's actually a bit of a long story, but I'm actually coming from Ede, so that's the east side of the Netherlands. And I was 12 when I was doing volunteer work for the very first time. And at this evening I was the one handing out hot choco to everyone who liked that, to wish them a nice Christmas. And at this evening I met someone who was very lonely. She was telling her whole story to me. Her father just passed away. She didn't have any friends, no other family members she was in contact with. And I was really shocked by her story. But as a 12-year-old, I was so surprised that I could actually bring some joy, because she was really thankful and she looked relieved. Mm-hmm. And this inspired me to start doing volunteer work a lot. So when I was a bit older, when I was 16 years old, it was really easy for me to decide which study I wanted to do. So I started to do social work. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a documentary about Rotterdam, and then specific Rotterdam South, and young people living there with a lot of talents, but a lot of problems as well. And that was my moment when I decided, okay, I will move there and I want to work there and I'm going to live there. After years of working in this neighborhood, I will start thinking about, but how is it possible that there are so many young people with so many talents, but who don't really have a place to belong and to develop themselves? And why are there so many people in Rotterdam who are lonely, who have a lot of needs, and why can't young people just bring the change? And that's how this whole idea started, actually.
Wow. If you explain that way, it sounds so easy. Like, okay, you were 12 doing voluntarily work. Is it something that you were brought up with, like that is important to do?
Yeah, my parents did support me in doing good stuff for others. But it's also something I think I had to discover myself. So I think you cannot learn to do good, but I think you have to just do good and find out how cool it is, actually. Yeah.
Wow. And then being 12 and then having such a breakthrough moment, and then you really decided to move over to Rotterdam.
Yeah.
From Ede.
Yeah, there was
which is, for the people that don't know Ede, that is like way on the other side of this country. But yeah. It's like, for me, it's like, I think it's totally different than a big urban city or a big city.
Totally. Actually, I was raised on a farm, so okay. That's really totally different. And I moved when I was 18 to the Tarwijk, next to the Millingsbuurt. I don't know if people know it, but I started living there, and I was working as a social worker. I did my internship there, and I work with people who just lost their house, who just came here as a refugee, people who just left from prison, like the most beautiful people with the most, like, I don't know, horrible stories. And to me, it was really inspiring to actually be with them, to sit with them, to listen to their stories, and to kind of bring some joy.
Wow.
And next to that, I was doing volunteer work with young guys from Curacao mostly. And I was with their moms, and I was just in a neighborhood. I lived there, my clients were there, the people I was doing volunteer work with were there, and I was just living amongst them, kinda. And to me, that was like a whole new world. Yeah, I'm really grateful I made that step. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, moving over to Rotterdam South, which is, for a lot of people that don't know, Rotterdam South could be described as, okay, it's kind of a challenging neighborhood or part of Rotterdam. I myself live in Rotterdam South too, but I'm just curious, like, didn't people like warn you or tell you like, what are you going to do there and why? And like, I can imagine maybe the word scared is not, the right word to use, but I can imagine, being so young and beautiful and just, walking into a neighborhood with a lot of challenges and talking to all these people with horrible stories, but also like, how did you earn their confidence? Like, okay, I'm here and I'm going to help you. So there are multiple questions, but tell me, what was the reaction first of like family and friends?
My father was not that happy, you can imagine. But I was just really naive, and I had this feeling like I can change the world. Like this was my belief. And what I did, I was just seeing those people with their stories as people just as you and I. And I think because I was so young and different than people they normally talk to, I was not really a threat to them. Of course, things happened which weren't nice. For example, I have been threatened by the boyfriend of a client of mine who lived just across in the neighbor, and he told me I will shoot you if you don't find a house for my girlfriend soon.
Wow.
Well, I was not even able to find her a house, of course, but those things did make me realize that it's not just a happy, clappy world. But what I also did was in this neighbor you have a lot of guys standing on the street who were, of course, saying things to me, making those noises. And at one point I was like, okay, I want to change this. I'm just their neighbor, and I want to be seen as their neighbor, not as this blonde girl walking there. So at one point I just jumped in their conversation, introduced myself kinda, wished them a very nice day, and since then I was just their friend and talking with them when I would pass them, and
so
I was just part of the neighbor there. Yeah.
Really earned their respect also,
yes.
Right?
And making sure that people don't see you as a thing, but as a human, and as well seeing the other person as a human, because
that's important too.
Yeah.
Because of course they have horrible stories, but things happen to you, and they might not trust everyone, right? And especially not maybe a young person who's coming there and say, okay, I'm a social worker.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I also started realizing that this happened to them, but this can happen to all of us. Of course, people make bad decisions, but bad decisions come from sometimes a place of pain or things they've experienced in their past. But they're human, just as you and I. And like life happens, and this world is not always a wonderful place.
No, it's not perfect. Could you maybe share us like a story with us, like one of the stories that you were just talking about?
I was thinking about how important it is to actually be aware of what happens in this city. So if you're walking outside and seeing people you're facing every day, like in the metro, in the tram, wherever you're walking, but there's a whole story behind them. And for example, there was this one young African person, this guy, he didn't live in the Netherlands for super long, He was a refugee, and he ended up in debts. And his debts were so terrible that at the end he didn't have water in his home anymore for 3 months. And that's the moment he came to my office. And we really had to struggle through all those rules actually to get him water in his house again. Then we started working on his debts, but we also did an IQ test actually. But he has a mental handicap, and nobody ever saw it. And he wasn't just able to understand the letters coming to his way.
He was maybe also not aware of that he. Oh wow.
Yeah, he didn't know. So yeah, it was.
That
so,
is how this like this world sometimes works.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of rules and paperwork and letters.
Yeah, and people don't understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do understand it, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
if you
but even then, sometimes even if you do understand it, it's already difficult.
Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit more about how your organization works, about the projects?
Yeah. So this was the time I was a social worker when all those stories happened, and when I finished my social work study, I also did a teacher study. So I became a teacher as well. And then I was thinking about, okay, how can I get those young people involved with those people, with those stories, and how can I build an organization? And that was actually September 2017. We just started with the first volunteer projects, like going to homeless people, cook for them, just those little moments of joy, and learn young people that they are actually able to bring a solution. Yeah.
And where does the name come from? Like New Network Rotterdam, if you translate it, like is it about a network?
Yeah, so New Rotterdam stands for a city where there's no loneliness, no polarization, no discrimination, no poverty, like this whole new beautiful city where everything is well. And this network is the place where the young people belong. So in this network, that is where they develop themselves, and from that network they are able to build on this new Rotterdam. That's what it stands for.
That's a great name because because you mentioned talent, Brazilians. So what is then how does it work? And what do you show them? Like the way to go back to school or use their talents to get a job or?
Like the young people who come to us are like very different from each other. Some are maybe studying at the Erasmus University but don't have a lot of friends because they're new in Rotterdam. Others are refugees and maybe living at the AZC still, the Asylum Seeker Center. Others are have a low education, others are working a lot, so it's really different. But we try to like make a community and let them to get to know each other. And we give them trainings, of course, about social skills, about resilience actually as well. As well, what can I say? It's a lot like reanimation.
Like first aid.
First aid, thank you, yes. All those skills, and we give them places to be able to put their skills to practice. And I think volunteer work is a really cool way to actually get experience and to get network and to,
Yeah, true. So do you also use like a sort of like mentorship program? Like if someone is, is from the Erasmus University, for example, that could be, you build a community, but within that community, do you use like peer-to-peer support or mentorship, or do you have like programs for everyone separately?
No, we have those like coaching sessions more. So they will write their personal mission statement together, and they will talk about this. And because there are so much different people, they will learn from each other. And then, of course, they will also be buddies for maybe children who have problems with learning, or maybe for refugees who want to get to know the language. So this is how we also sustain that. Yeah.
Tell me something more about your team. Like, how big is your team, and how many projects do you run? How many people have you helped, from the start until now?
Yeah, so we're working on this project for 3 years now, and I'm doing this together with a wonderful team with 6 people. We also have a board and an advisory team. And since our start, we actually activated more than 1,000 young Rotterdam, young people from Rotterdam. And we've been helping over 2,000 lonely people in Rotterdam as well. And we organize more than 300 different projects. So actually it grows really fast. And to me, like, I'm just a 12-year-old girl with this hot choco who is inviting others to join me. And it's amazing to see what's happening.
I think it's also so necessary in living in a big city, in a big international city. That there is, there are projects to basically bring people together and to make sure that they're not lonely, or to guide them basically through life or through difficult times. Do you think this, like, we're living in a big city now, you could really see the difference, of course, Ada city. What does this city really need to make sure that we don't have those problems in the future? Like looking, it is maybe a difficult question, but I'm just curious about your vision for, how to build up this new Rotterdam.
I think it all starts with awareness, being aware of the people around you, see people actually as people, to be able to sit with the broken, but as well allow brokenness, like, because everybody has their brokenness, and accept that and connect together. So I think it all starts with getting to know each other, be real, be open.
Be open.
I think this is really important. But as well, of course, with social entrepreneurship, I think to really, like, a lot of social entrepreneurs really want to bring a solution, but do they really know the problem before they are able to bring the solution? So just to, really know what's going on, I think that's important. Yeah.
Do you think that now, like, not everyone knows exactly where the problem comes from or what it exactly is?
I think it's really easy to talk about problems and, like, to say, like, in Rotterdam South, those things are happening, these are the facts, and now we are going to bring a solution. Well, I'm sometimes wondering, like, but have you spoken with the person who has this problem? And I think it's really easy to talk about problems and to see problems, but to not really understand them. Yeah.
Wow. And I'm just curious, like, what do you think about, I really like your whole approach. I really think that, the local government should really take account of all the things that you're saying. Because I think indeed, as, that's also why we have a venture cafe, right? This is also a place where you connect people, where you're thinking about starting a company or searching for a new job, or like international students coming over to the city and have, the first stop might be venture cafe because of the language. And we really do see the added value of really connecting people and really listening to people. And I think that would be one of the best recipes, right, for the city in the future.
I think this is a wonderful place to be able to connect with others. Yeah.
But also, I do have to recognize, and I do have to say that, I always say that in Rotterdam we have, like, multiple bubbles, living next to each other, but, like, really living with each other is very difficult. Like, making connections and to connect everything is it's easy to say, but it's difficult to do.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
So what would you say is, like, our biggest challenge in the city?
Our biggest challenge in this city.
Or for you, like, what kind of challenges do you see, like, doing for your nonprofit organizations, doing your projects?
That's a good question. I think, like, for my project as a startup, there are a lot of challenges. They are financially, but they are also getting the right people on your team, getting young people to join you, being able to understand everything that happens. You can't understand everything that happens, but to understand what's happening in this city and how you can join it or bring value there. So as a non-profit, I think it's hard to find the financial provision actually to be able to do what you do. So that's one of the biggest challenges.
Of course. So
yeah.
And so now the model is basically, the financial model is really based on sponsorships.
Yeah. Partly the gemeente Rotterdam, but as well a lot of foundations who are funding us. Yes, so that's always, I don't know. At the end of the year, this time of the year, I'm always really nervous about, okay, will I get it done next year again, and will I be able to sustain everything? Yeah. So that's a challenge.
And are there also companies sponsoring you, or is it mostly foundations and that you write to?
Mostly foundations, and I'm really working on finding the right sponsorships from companies. Yes.
Right. Well, I hope this this talk with us with our Venture Cafe community also makes it make people aware that this is just an amazing foundation here, a nonprofit organization in Rotterdam that is really working on connections and resilience. Tell me, is there also a way that people that are now listening to it are thinking, okay, I want to help, I want to do something, I want to meet you, I want to help out with the project? Is that a possibility?
Of course, because everybody can join. If you want to do volunteer work, it's really easy. Go to our website, netwerknieuwrotterdam.nl, and sign up, get part of what we do. For other organizations, also please contact us through our website or find me on LinkedIn. I would love to have a cup of coffee, of course. Or big companies who would like to talk about partnerships. They're also really, we're open to that. Yes, everybody's welcome.
I'm just looking at the screen and in the cafe area. If there's someone with a question, maybe, please raise your hand or let us know. Otherwise, I'm just going to go on with all my questions, of course. We kind of want to know a little bit more about the projects, because you have so many projects now going on. Could you give us one or two examples?
Is it allowed to give you three?
Sure, yeah, of course.
So out of this network, we have three different programs for the youngsters. One is this light version where you just are able to do volunteer work, and you can go to the asylum seeker center to do games with children, or you can go to the homeless center to cook for them. You can go to elderly centers to just have a nice chat, or before Corona we were able to have this disco dancing with them, which is really nice. But you can also be a one-on-one buddy for someone to help them with their school, or help them in their house, sport with them, whatsoever. Yeah. Then you have the second program where you're able to do it's half a year, 4 hours a week, and it's really about developing yourself while doing volunteer work. So you get a personal coach who's helping you with your goals actually. And then you have our last project, that's Glow Up. We do that together with the gemeente Rotterdam as well. This is for people who will do this project for half a year, 20 hours a week. And here come a lot of people who maybe are in between jobs or in between studies, or maybe they don't have anything to do and they're just really stuck. And they follow this project, and they have a lot of different trainers coming over to help them with how do you actually manage your time, but as well, what are your qualities, who are you actually, what's your story. And this half a year is really a cool way to get inspired and to find a new way to live, kind of.
Yeah. Wow. And is there a certain age that you can how old do you have to be to, because you were 12?
Yeah, so exactly, everybody's welcome from 12 years old, because I want to give also the 12 years old the chance to be part of us, but mostly the most of the people are 16 or 18 plus until 27, so it's a kind of a big group.
Yeah. How do you find them?
We're really active on social media, but we're also giving a lot of presentations. We're going to schools. People actually also bring their friends, so that's how they get involved. And I think we organize a lot of, for example, doing good meetings. So these are inspirational sessions, a bit as what we do right now. And this is a really cool place to just get to know us and get some inspiration and see if you would like to join. this is also a way for us to find new people to join our group.
And are you only active in Rotterdam South, or is it
throughout the whole city?
Throughout the whole city.
The young people come throughout the whole city, and everybody's welcome. Our office is at the south, but our projects are throughout the whole city. Yeah.
Okay. And the projects are really based on like the neighborhood or is it based on where do you like meet the people that you can help, or how do you like find those projects or those parts of the city?
Yeah, we work together with a lot of partners, of course.
Okay.
So maybe social workers who work with elderly, who find that one elderly is really lonely, they would contact us and tell us about this person, and we would jump in, see if we can help. But we also have a lot of partners like the Salvation Army, the Asylum Seeker Center. I actually said a lot of the Humanitas, like all those social organizations. We present ourselves, and they can send us applications for people we can help, or we organize activities together. Yeah.
Great. And I see a question popping in. I'm going to read it on the screen. Not too big. What's one thing you wish you knew before you started down the path of entrepreneurship?
Good one.
So what's one thing you wish you knew before you started?
That you don't have to know everything yourself, I think. I really found out that, like, of course, I just started as I want to help people and I want to do something good, and this led to a foundation, and that led to me being an entrepreneur. It was never the goal in itself to be an entrepreneur, actually. Yeah. But I found out that there are so many things you have to know, and there are so much things you don't know. But there are a lot of people who are actually super friendly and they do know it, and you should just ask them actually and see if they can be your help. That's a lesson I learned, because what I do now is not something I've been studying for. So I was just telling my friends that I was a bit stressed this week, like, oh, there's so much challenging things coming my way and things I have to think about, and how am I able to sustain this organization, because we're now doing this for 3 years, but I want to be here 10 years from now. I still want this organization to thrive and, you know, to help people, but how am I going to do this? And I'm not able to know this all by myself, so I would really say, like, you don't have to know it. You just have to go and believe in your dreams and go for it, and ask people around you to actually help you and bring the knowledge you need. Yeah. Yeah,
I do recognize that. It's basically knowing your strength and your weakness, and then having that vision of, because you're now talking about, you know, you started a company as a startup.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about how to scale up, and that is like a totally different.
Yeah, that's, you know, totally
business.
Different.
Like, yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah.
And how do you find like people in your network that you think are like, okay, this person really can like help me making that step? Or is it, you know, do you have a mentor like yourself, or a coach?
I actually have different mentors. So my chairman from my board, he's actually the founder of the Albeda College here in Rotterdam. So he has a lot of knowledge. He's 70 himself, and we're sitting every Monday and we're just talking everything through. He's really one of my biggest helps. Nice. But as well, like I just get people around me, also from my advisory board, from Nationale Nederlander, for example. But as well, I don't know how to say this, but
like basically people in your network, advisory board that are helping you or coaching you when you have like difficulties or questions. Like,
for example, Saida Goedhoop, maybe you know her. She's this really inspiring woman, and I just have a coffee now and then with her, and we talk about leadership, for example, and how do you actually lead a team, because that's also new, of course. So and this really helps me to get the knowledge I need. I
think that is the path of entrepreneurship itself. Like it is a search, like maybe within yourself, like, okay, how am I going to do this? But keep, you know, a vision and keep focused on your dream, but along the way learn from people that maybe did it before, or, you know, have a great advice. So talking about leadership, because that is exactly an interesting point you just mentioned. What type of leader are you? Or what is your definition of leadership? Like, how do you do it?
I would say a serving leader, kinda. To me, it's very important with the people on my team that I know how they're doing. Like every Monday, we start a week, not with being busy, with just sitting together, having our coffee, ask how our weekend was, and tell us what's going on in our lives. For example, if someone's struggling with something, they would be able to tell this, so that if I want to build this community in Rotterdam, I have to start with my team, of course. So, and I really find it important that my team feels well and that they are able to do what they are doing so well, but that I'm supporting them first of all. So I think that's my key in being a leader at the team.
And if I would just now call one of your team members and ask them, okay, can you describe Pauline in this one sentence or like a few words, what do you think they would say about you?
I think enthusiastic. I'm always enthusiastic about stuff. I think as well visionary. I dare to say that. I always think in possibilities instead of problems, or solutions actually instead of problems. I think that they would mention that too. Yeah.
Great. Because I think, maybe if people don't know you, you have also won a few prizes, a few awards. Can you tell us something about that?
So in 2019, I was nominated for Businesswoman of Rotterdam of the year and the category Upcoming Talents. So that was really cool, especially as a non-profit. And then I just realized, oh, I'm a businesswoman as well. And this year we won the Zorg and Velzen award. And that was about an organization who's actually bringing changes in the difficulty of the social work. So that was really an honor to win this. Yes.
Yeah, and was so what kind of like the award of the Zorg en Welzijn, is that like a national award?
Yeah, it's a national award.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that was really cool to be.
Did it give a lot of publicity? Also.
Yes, it does give publicity, and also it's kind of a quality mark. Like, so it helps me to as well in our year reports to show like, okay, I think we do a great job, but other people are thinking this as well. Yeah. So that really helps.
Like acknowledging, the work that you do.
Yeah.
And I think it will open a lot of more doors. I think you already opened a lot of doors and you have a great, network and partners, but I think these things really help also, right?
Yeah.
And also for yourself, because again, it's the girl of 12 years old.
Yeah, and that's the fun thing. That's really how I still feel. Like I still feel like that 12-year-old enthusiastic girl who just wanted to do something good, and this is still what I'm doing, but I'm matured, of course.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to be a mom
pretty soon. I'm going to be a mom pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Really cool yes.
Any other questions maybe here in the room or at home? No. And I was wondering, like, who is your role model?
Who is my role model?
Yeah.
Good question. I might have a really weird answer, but I will say it. To me that's Jesus, but that's just because I love the way he was able to connect with people and to I'm actually never talk about this subject in that sense, but for me it's him because I just really love the way he was reaching out to others and be able to bring change and be the help actually. And some people believe in him, others don't, but I think the image of him is really beautiful. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like the answer. I was indeed expecting, but that's a bias maybe. I was expecting that you would mention some, entrepreneur or like a name in that field. So yeah, I'm quite surprised. But I do.
Sorry.
I think that that is the essence, right? Why do you do it? Like, and what is the reason that you get out of bed every day? There has to be, you
have to be inspired.
Exactly.
Because honestly, walking this path is really cool, but it's also really hard, and it really asks a lot of you. It's not like everything goes smoothly and everything is easy. So you really need, like, as an entrepreneur, and really if you want to bring solutions to this world, you should be, I think you really need someone to look up to and to get inspired by, and to be like have an inspiration to get out of bed every day, even when sometimes things just suck.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. Like the resiliency of yourself also, right? But tell me, what if you have a bad day? Like, okay, how do you know, everyone has a bad day, especially when you're an entrepreneur. But tell me, what is your best tip? Like, okay, best tip is?
To me, it's accepting the fact that you have a bad day, because I think our generation sometimes forget that life isn't perfect and that bad things happen. So if I'm really stressed or something bad happened, then I'm just trying to accept that first of all, and as well just let my emotions have their room as well. So mostly my husband would listen to me, and I would cry a bit, and then he would be like, okay, it's all right, just tell me. So this really helps me to just be honest. And,
to have people like around you to that understand.
Yeah, to be open and just,
I think sometimes I'm thinking about social media now, because I'm wondering, because you of course with your organization use a lot of social media. That's also how you reach younger people, build a community. But sometimes it is also exactly the platform where things always look great, always look nice. People don't have any problems. Sometimes I think maybe even like put pictures up there that is like totally the opposite of their life. But how do you, because you were talking about loneliness and about problems, and what do you think that, you know, is what social media does in young people, you know, in their lives?
I think it brings a lot of anxiety, honestly. Because if we all like broadcast our perfect, you know, life, then what if your life isn't perfect? And I think this makes people anxious, and as well because then it's more difficult to actually tell what's going on in your life. And well, I think it's important to be real. And of course, I have Instagram, and I don't post me crying at the couch. I just show like happy pictures. But so I think that's a problem of social media, because I think social media is really cool to be creative and to be connecting with people and to stay in touch, actually, but not a place to live your life, kinda. It's not a showcase of your life. I think people shouldn't see it like that.
Yeah, because it can be a pressure on someone's life, especially when you're feeling lonely, and social media is sometimes maybe the escape, because you feel connected but you're not. You're so lonely. Because what I notice that loneliness is such, I hear it all the time. Like if I read like policies, or you know, hear about the stories that you were just talking about, but also with elderly people, there's a lot of loneliness. But how come? Like we're talking about connections and coming together. Of course, COVID-19, Corona is, you know, it's also showcasing that a lot of people are looking forward to, you know, be together again, or you know, having parties or meetups. And is this like our biggest problem now, like the whole loneliness? Or is this a part of, you know, the how do you call it, like the 2020 lifestyle?
No, I think our generation and our world actually is really individualistic. So people are really raised to get the best out of themselves, to go for everything you believe in, and to really find your fit. But we sometimes forget that this life is always in connections with others. Like, you're not able to get a baby yourself, for example. Like, it's always in connections with others. So I think that's the reason why there's so much loneliness. And I don't think that loneliness is always problematic. So I think everybody experiences loneliness in a way sometimes. But when you are lonely for a really long time and you don't know anymore how to connect with others, then it's really a problem. But I think it's important that loneliness is something we're able to talk about. I feel lonely myself as well sometimes. Maybe when I'm really challenged, or I don't know, when I feel hurt about something, or when I feel like, oh, I don't fit in this group, I can feel lonely myself as well. But I also think we should acknowledge that that's all right, but that we should be able to talk about this problem.
Yeah, I think talking about it is also, talking about maybe not only successes, but also the difficult part of, growing up or being a part of the city.
Yeah. And to have the courage to go to someone to talk about the stuff you're dealing with, even though you might feel that's a bit weird or it's not that important, but just to do it, and you will find out that actually everybody is dealing with certain stuff, and that's how you get a real connection, I think. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, because when I do meet a lot of female entrepreneurs, and we were talking about it just last month on female leadership and those things. And the thing that I learned becoming an entrepreneur and throughout the years is that we all look alike, like we're all similar, like-minded, and we all are human. So we experience the same pain, same joy, same challenges.
Yeah.
I think, as you mentioned before, like resiliency and really having that entrepreneurial mindset is like very key. Like keep being enthusiastic, thinking opportunities, not in challenges, as you also mentioned. I think that is the best recipe to
and I think if you say resilience to me is really being able to continue going for your dream, to be the entrepreneur you are, but to embrace the brokenness, which will also be part of that. And because in this world you will have trouble, but you can overcome. Like it's able to go through this, and it's all right. Like I think that's the main thing when it comes to resilience. Accept, like if you have a dream, if you're working towards this dream, it always starts with enthusiasm, like being enthusiastic about it, and to have all these dreams, and you go for it, and at one point you're just hitting a wall. But you have to go through these walls to be able to go towards your dream, and you have to embrace those walls, because once you're like the moment you're standing before a hill, like you're seeing this big hill, you're like, how am I able to ever climb this one? But at the moment you're up, you're actually on that same hill. Like it's the hill you're standing on is the same as the one you were facing. But the moment you're up there, it's like a moment of joy, and you were able to do this. I think that's resilience. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And perseverance, as you also mentioned, right?
Perseverance as well.
Wow. Okay. So looking at the time, we're almost running out of time. I honestly feel that I can talk to you for hours.
We should, but
so for the people at home, I do know her. I did have a call with her for to prepare for this, and I know her track record, of course. But I kind of I really enjoy talking to you. I think that you do amazing things for the city, and I hope that you're so young again, and I know. Age is just a number, but for me it's like super amazing to see someone that is so young, and it started all when you were 12, and that I think it reminds me of having kids of my own. Like my oldest is almost 10, and then how she perceives Rotterdam. We're living in the south part, talking about her dreams, but sometimes we also work together with an organization called Yink.
Yeah,
and we have a lot of those, we have a lot of young children coming here from primary school, and what we do is basically show them the space as to show them like this is also part of Rotterdam. If you have a dream, just follow and work hard, and this is like the innovation world, and see that everything you can imagine, you can just make or create.
Yes.
And entrepreneurship, it's not that people have to become an entrepreneur, as you also said, it's more the entrepreneurial mindset. And we also, that fuels us basically in Venture Cafe also to, keep on programming and seeing those young kids coming here. And then I can remember one story, I know time is short. I can remember one story of this girl coming over from Rotterdam South. And we asked her, what do you want to become when you're older? And she told us she wants to be an architect. And And I said to her, wow, well, you know, what is your favorite building? And she says, well, this is the first time I crossed the bridge, but I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, well, my parents don't have any reason to come here, and I also didn't have reason. So this is my first time, and I was like, I was just, you know, same reaction as it, you know, as now. I'm like totally
shocked.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but this is exactly why it's so important to, you know, invest in like kids at school already, and then, you know,
let young people believe in themselves,
yeah,
in the world around them, and in the dreams they have. Because those dreams and desires people have are really valuable. And I think if we can stay close to the child in you, I think, that will bring wonderful things in this world.
Know, at 12, then you have already the dream of, you know, I want to help the world. And then you're 26 and you're just doing it.
I'm doing my very best. Yeah.
Well, we're super proud. I'm very proud. And thank you for being here, for, you know, telling your story, your personal story to Venture Cafe and our community. And let us know how we can help you.
Yes, we will stay in contact. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay, bye. So I'm going to wrap up. Everyone wants to applaud. Wait. Please join our next Thursday gathering again next week, because it's going to be Upstream Festival. Don't miss out. A really huge international startup, scale-up festival in Rotterdam. Everything is going to be online. Don't miss out. So register at upstreamfestival.com. See you next week.